Alright, this is Pete Cooper from Pete Cooper Roofing. I'd like to show you today how we can save a little bit of money, save the homeowner a little bit of money, save the builder. If you're building new homes, save you a little bit of money. And as long as you got professional roofers on the roof that are doing the job correctly, trained right, you can save your customer or the builder plenty of money. If the job is done professionally and have a minimum amount of scrap. So there's a lot of competition out there for price-wise on estimates and pricing new construction work. A lot of crews do it real cheap, but the bottom line is, like some of you home builders, you're paying a cheaper price out there for installing shingles on a new job, but at the same time, the guy like me that might be slightly higher, I can save you. You're going to wind up paying the same thing because I've got a crew that runs that base minimum scrap. So if I got 2 or 3 square less of garbage than the other crew out there that doesn't know how to roof properly and doesn't know how to use pieces of material. A lot of roofers out there get paid by the square, and they want to just toss off half a shingle here and a half a shingle there, and you got a lot of roofers out there that weed valleys. If you weed the valleys, you're losing a half a shingle on one side of your valley, pretty much, instead of running a cut valley. I like using cut valleys to save material that way. Some roofers out there, they put their shingles using an architect shingle as a starter shingle around the entire perimeter of the roof. And then when the job, I've seen a new house the other day that these guys went up there and they roofed it, and I walked around their job and there was architect shingles ran as a starter shingle all around the edges, all the way around the edges, and you're going to use $80 a square worth of material and use it for a starter shingle when you can buy $50 a square material for your starter shingle, or maybe in some cases less than that. So when the job comes up short, you're sitting there wondering why they calling you, asking you for four square or 3 square or however many square there is, and that's one of the reasons. So you're losing, if it's 2 or 3 square, you're losing $250 plus the price of the labor on that. Run up to $300 worth of labor and material. Well, $300 worth of labor and material is going to be, sometimes it'll probably be the difference between you getting that job and you not getting that job. So what we like to do is just use every bit of material that we can. We believe that, if you are getting paid by the square, then you should be running the whole shingle, not half of it or a third of it or a quarter of it, and trashing the rest. So one way you can save a lot of money if you want is look how much material you got scrapped on your jobs. If you're a home builder, go to your dumpster and see what kind of trash you got in there. You maybe find out that the guy like me that might be $2 or $3 or $4 more a square, you're going to wind up paying me less and having a better job than you are paying the guy that's supposed to be cheaper. But the problem of it is he's using more material, so he ain't no cheaper than I am. So anyway, let me show you a few things that we do that saves material and eliminates a lot of garbage and waste on the job. One of the things we do is I showed the pattern on this side over here, and we had no trash off that pattern because I showed that if you run a pattern, a 45-degree pattern, you should have 0 scrap on your rake edge. So over here we have 0 scrap. Rake edge is all nice and neat. Everything butts my border right here, all down through here, everything's nice and neat. Now I ran the shingles across this way, and I've got another rake edge over here. On this rake edge, I had some full shingles go out, and if you look on the side right here, you see I got one piece here, one piece over here, one piece here, another piece right here, and a piece on the bottom. So basically, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of garbage off this rake edge that's probably no longer than a whole foot altogether. So that's the trash I got on a 7 square gable, rake edge to rake edge roof here. If we go over here, I'll show you another thing, how we eliminate trash off of hips when we run in hips, how I run the stagger on a hip where you have eliminate all the trash on a hip. So if we come this way, notice here, I've got a pattern. This is a little bit wider than my standard 6-inch pattern. Probably 7 or 8 inches. As long as you nail in the proper places, 12 inches away from the end of your shingle, you have no problem with having a slightly wider stagger. But what I usually do is I try to pull a shingle on my hip, and then I take a shingle and I cut up about a third of the shingle, which is like 2 knife blades and an inch if you don't want to pull your tape measure out. But anyway, I cut off a third. And what I do is I run my hip. And I touch the double part of the shingle to the edge of my hip. This only allows the top part of the shingle to hang over the hip. I don't even have to cut this. I'll just nail this over. Also, it's right dead to my hip, so I'm not gonna have the double part of the shingle hanging over where it makes my ridge cap buckle up. And then I take my 2/3 piece, and I cut off a third. I take my 2/3 piece and I line this double part right here to the edge of my hip, and it still allows me to have ridge cap go over and cover these corners. And then I run my 3rd piece. Run it to the hip. So once I have that, I have no trash all the way down that hip. When I come up here and I run my next few shingles here, I got my pattern going. Come to my full shingle again on my pattern. Run it to the hip. Top part sticking over, far enough on the hip that while my ridge is in the cover. And I take this and cut off my 3rd, run the long piece and then the short piece. And basically you just start all the way over again. Come to the bottom, come up here, do the same thing. When you do that, that allows no trash, no waste. Another thing that we do that saves waste, like I was talking about the valleys, weaving the valleys, how you lose shingles on that. We'll go back here and look at a cut valley and see the trash that we have off a cut valley, and then show you how a weed valley uses up more material. Now here we have our typical weed valley. What we got is one side goes underneath and through, and then we come back with this side, and we run out the valley right here. So when we pop our line on our valley, all we got is basically the corner of the shingle as trash. We have this much trash. Like 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches, all the way down through the valley. Now if you had a weed valley, this side would be run through like this side is here. Half the shingle this way, half the shingle up. And then this side would be weed with it. Half the shingle this way and half the shingle weed through here. So basically you're losing 12 to 18 inches of shingle when you weed valleys. Now this valley right here is probably 10 feet long. And if you're losing 10 to 18 inches of shingle every time, you add that up, you got about 20, 22 shingles right here. You're going to wind up losing, 10 shingles. Depending on how many valleys you got on the roof. If you got 1, 2, 6, 8, 10 valleys, you're losing a half a bundle each valley. You start adding that up, you know, you got another couple of square right there that you're getting charged additional labor and you're getting charged additional material. So you add up the rake edges and the hips. A lot of roofers run them hips like I was showing earlier. They run that side, the opposite side, instead of just cutting it straight and using every little piece that they can, and then turn around and just cut off 3/4 of the shingle and sling it on the ground. So that's kind of the few things that we do to eliminate trash, do a professional job. The roofers do a professional job. It saves the company money. It allows you to bid a little bit lower and be able to get that job to compete with those guys that are out there just trashing the jobs and doing it for hardly nothing. We got a lot of people in the industry that, you know, they just pay the guys, and the guys get paid by the square, and they don't give a damn if they're throwing away half the shingle, 3/4 of the shingle, whatever. That all goes on based on what kind of supervision you got on your crew and how professional your guys really are. And as long as you got good professional guys and train them right, you can compete with the other guy. You can compete with a lot of these illegal crews that are out here. You know, they're doing it for so cheap. The only way you're going to be able to compete against them is you're going to have a jam-up crew that doesn't do no waste, and that's the way you're going to compete with the lower price man. So this is Pete Cooper Roofing, and have a good day.